Welcome to this Q&A for the film Echo, which is part of the 31st edition of Nordisk Panorama Film Festival 2020. The film is not only nominated for the Best Nordic Documentary, it also has the chance to win the Audience Award, so please do not forget to vote after this session. My name is Martijn. I'm one of the programmers of the festival for this year, and I'll be the host of this Q&A, and I have the pleasure to talk to the director of Echo, Rúnar Rúnarsson. Welcome, Rúnar.
Yeah, thank you.
Where are you based now? Are you in Reykjavik?
Yes, I'm in Reykjavik.
Okay, yeah. Well, your film Echo premiered last year in Locarno, and it's quite a different film compared to the films in the competition. It's a film consisting of 56 scenes, all with a static film, with a tripod, all with different people, half fiction or maybe not even half doc. We're going to talk about that very soon. It seems to be that society is the main character, or at least if you would call a character. And you made two fiction films before this, and this is a totally different film. Can you tell us a little bit about how you conceived of this film after two more traditional narrative films?
Well, my background is as well that I have made a lot of short films. So a short storytelling film is something that I'm accustomed to. And it's a long time since I made a documentary, but yeah, before film school I was making documentaries as well. After these two fiction feature films that I made, I was getting quite bored with this Greek structure. Always this demand of having this Greek arc and
Mm-hmm.
a main character that should, and more or less the modern demand that all characters, if they are side characters, everybody should have their own arc, and there should be a resolution and a development and etc. And I think there's a certain stallment within fiction films.
Right.
It's an old idea that I had before film school, and when I had stopped touring my last fiction film, Sparrows, then I was really wondering what I felt like doing, and I started working on this. And all of a sudden I felt just so alive as an artist to break up this form, in generally all films are always, everything around us, we put things into shelves, give them labels, give them names, categorize things. And what I think is interesting with the fiction films that I have made, that people look at that as a pure fiction, but I always base something on my experiences, and then that is an inspiration and a reenact of things, and etc. And the people often look at documentary film as reality and fiction film as not reality, something made up. But all films have a strong fingerprint of the filmmakers behind them, and an orthodox documentary consists of a 90-minute film, consists of material that is maybe hundreds and hundreds of hours, and there's a selective reality that is put together, and it always represents the viewpoint of the author. So when I was preparing this one, I wanted to work, there were fragments of life that I wanted to find a way to bind together to reflect on society. And the methods that we are using is that we were capturing, initiating, and staging reality, if so to say.
Yeah.
And the capturing part, being like a fly on the wall, is a method. Being at certain places at certain times, as well. Driving around. There were many days that we were driving around and trying to discover something. The initiated part was as well certain points, sometimes at certain times, sometimes putting people into certain situations to capture their genuine reactions of things. So half control situations. And then it's the stage part that sometimes is reenacting of things that have some semi-historical things that have happened in Icelandic society, and as well reenacting of something that has happened to me or I have witnessed, all for the greater good of portraying the society. And for me, Echo is a film, but people start to categorize, and yeah, Echo is, as far as I know now, categorized as a hybrid film because of the fictional part in it. But sometimes the fictional part is maybe more. Sometimes fictional part can be more real than actually reality, so to say. Always when we have a camera and people notice a camera, there is, when are we capturing reality? When are we choose in and out point of a clip and we put things together? So yeah, it's a funky balance of things, all if films are personal. They all represent a certain reality as well.
Mm-hmm. No, of course, and it seems a bit like nearly like a dream, maybe of you, of your images of Iceland between Christmas and New Year, when emotions seem to be amplified. You see the best and the worst of the people in your film, and also the gray zones, the boring parts also. Yeah. But I feel, how did you to create in the end those 56 scenes? Did you do that beforehand, or really in the edit, or during the shoot, or a combination?
It's a combination of all this. To finance a film, you have to have a manuscript or a blueprint, and I can't remember, the shooting draft was around 58 scenes or 60 scenes or something, and some merged, some things fell out because as well in the part that we were driving around and capturing things, similar emotions or similar things popped up. So we maybe shot, I haven't never counted all the scenes that we shot, and it's maybe 140 scenes that we shot or something.
It's a pretty complicated production if you have to think of the props and all the locations and the people and the little story in it. I mean, the school play, for example.
Yeah, but it's as well, of course, we did a lot of location scoutings beforehand, and many things that, and when you work on a small budget, you have to, the same thing can happen in different places, but if you are always driving around, will never reoccur to any location again. So we had to find places with good production value, and of course sometimes we are hanging up a star or putting a Christmas light in a window or something, but more there are almost no sets that are built. It's some sets are being a little bit figured with for the greater narrative, but it's all actual places.
Yeah. Some of the scenes are heartbreaking. The divorce scene, for example, the girl playing the piano, that is a short film in itself, and I feel that some of these are short films in by themselves. So you can really see where you come from. And, fantastic. You worked with amateurs. How did that go?
Well, everybody can be or act, or how to say it. It's everybody are under their own name. They are being themselves. Sometimes it's like I said before, a fly on a wall is thing, and they sometimes I'm putting. It's always real people that I'm putting into some kind of situations or capturing their situation. The more controlled scenes, there is to some extent a written text to portray a reality, and the beauty of amateurs, they are always within their spectrum. When you work with trained actors, they start to rely on technique, and of course there are great actors that can come with beautiful performances. But with amateurs, they have their spectrum, and they don't leave their spectrum. You just have to find the right people to be in front of the camera, and whether it's fiction or documentary, because you can have a great topic of a documentary and a character that the life of the person is really interesting, but that person is not at ease in front of the camera, or can't perform, but is maybe a Nobel scientist or something. So it's always finding the right people, and untrained people. You have to find out what their spectrum is, and that's fun.
Yeah, this is your third feature-length film set in Iceland.
Yes.
So you feel like very much an Icelandic filmmaker, or will you burst out of that as well, you think? In the future?
Well, I look at myself to begin with, just I'm a filmmaker, and just how my life has turned. Yeah, these three longer films that I made have been made in Iceland, but they have been the first two were Danish productions and Icelandic productions together. I studied in Denmark, in the National Film School of Denmark. I've made Danish short films. Sometimes it's because of practicality. Sometimes there is something that is on my mind. I have no idea where I will make my next film. If I ever make film again, I always feel empty. And after in every film, that everything that was on my heart at that time should be in the film. And at the present time, I have nothing on my mind. So.
Oh, but I strongly encourage you to be a filmmaker. Yeah. We need guys like you making great films and art and informing society, and art, and us holding a mirror to us, basically. Because I feel that the film is not about Iceland, it's about humanity, or at least the Western part of humanity, Western society, consumer society, society, an affluent society, with all its problems as well. So I was very impressed with your film. Let's see. Sometimes in some scenes there is some continuity with the sounds of the bells or with the Prime Minister's speech, but it's rare. I mean, it's not happening so much. What made you decide to break your own logic, even if it's a few times? Although it's effective to me, but is it just trial and error in the edit, or not only?
Well, I can't remember to be completely honest. it's these maybe these certain parts of the film that there are key structural moments in the season, and in the beginning of the film, people slowly realize that there is actually a threat, and time is passing, and I guess sometimes not to think that for people like at Christmas Eve that they would think that's the next day, that's just to underline that we are still in that evening, to make these connections. To help the audience, to not to be misguided, or to just not be searching too much, because they have to search enough, I guess.
Okay, how was the film received? I'm not sure what festivals you played after Locarno. Have you shown it in Iceland yet?
Yeah, it was end of November last year.
Good timing.
Well, nobody came to see it.
Oh. Okay, so will the form of this film maybe influence your next film? Of course, maybe it's a silly question because you just said I'm empty, but you must be dreaming a bit or thinking a bit, or.
It's a funny thing to go so, I don't know how to say, so clean towards a portraying, and as well, I guess this Q&A is now after the film. People have seen the film. There's a lot of scenes that I wanted as well to have scenes that normally would not be in films, that a portrait of a moment in its
insignificance or something.
But there is so much beauty in our mundane everyday life but rarely these moments are allowed to be in films, and that simplicity, and as well the simplicity of the execution of all the different methods that were being used. It's some kind of a experiment to getting towards some kind of core, and the more you move the camera and cut, and the more you start to dictate people, and but at the same time, at least at present time, I made this film now, and why should I make a new film that is the same thing? I have
sure.
Maybe I will do it after 30 years when I have. I'm still alive, and I've experienced something more in life, and society has changed, or something like that. But to make an Easter film, and then a autumn film, and then I'm yes, it would be too repetitive in one way or the other.
Yeah. Okay, well, for me, the film is a plea also for imagination, and I think that's really good. Thank you very much, Rúnar. We have to wrap up. It's nearly 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, it's going fast. Thanks for participating, and thanks for the audience for watching. And please do not forget to vote, and check out the other films that are screening. Rúnar, thanks a lot, and hope to see you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.